In this video I want to do something a bit different. I want to recolor my old footage. I have one film that I really like, but back in the day I really wasn't happy with the color correction, so now we're going to do some GH4 color correction. So this project that I'm going to recolor is an old project from 2015, and back in the day I just sent a message to one Facebook group asking for any dancers wanting to join me to Suomenlinna, this very beautiful island in Helsinki, Finland. And we just went there, shot some footage, I edited the stuff, uploaded it and published, and everyone's really happy. People really enjoyed the video. The dancer even got a new job because of that video. But I was not at all happy with the color correction of the video. So then after a couple of months, I decided to recolor the whole project again and upload it, replace the video online. And I think it even got worse. So that's a couple of years ago. Back in the day, I was kind of like a beginner colorist. Now I'm somewhere between an intermediate colorist and an advanced colorist. So again, I'm not still happy with the color correction of the project. So I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to upload it here on YouTube. If you want to see the video, you can click here to see that video. I probably have already uploaded it. Anyway, and now we're going to dive into Premiere and I'm going to show you how I did the recoloring of this project. And as a note, I'm using a color correction kit, which is a package of lookup tables that is meant for the GH5. Though many people started telling me that this color correction kit for the GH5 works with other Lumix cameras as well. So I gave it a go, and apparently it works like a charm with the GH4. So for this video I'm going to use the color correction kit for the GH4, and you can find more information about it below the video. Okay, let's jump in. The video is a couple of minutes long, so let's not do the whole color correction for the video now. I will just show you two clips. The first clip that I want to show you is this, where the dancer is running down the hill. And the second one that I want to show you is this clip from the sequence where the dancer is heavily backlit from the sun. And there's these nice birds running around the sky, flying around the sky. So let's start. So the first clip where the dancer is running down the hill, let's find it, it's here. Let me show you the original color correction that I did this footage. So this is the Scene D footage straight out of the camera, very flat, all the colors are pretty much all over the place, very off, even though I had the white balance set correctly. And this is the color correction that I did to the footage. And it's a bit better maybe, I don't know, maybe it's even worse. That's the dilemma of a beginner colorist, is that you don't actually know if you're making the footage better or not. So I'm really unhappy with this footage that you can see here now. And this is my current version that I'm happy with. So let's do this. Let's make this look like this. And to do that, I'm going to use the color correction kit. The color correction kit has a basic idea that we turn all profiles into Vlog, and then we do a color correction and turn it to Rec 709, which is the normal color space across internet. Sounds a bit complicated, but it's actually rather easy. The first tip is to turn your Scene D to Vlog by applying the lookup table first to the footage. And now this footage is in Vlog space. And I just want to clarify that you don't recover any information that you would have gotten with Vlog, but the information that you have shot, you have captured, is now remapped into Vlog color space. So now I can use whatever lookup tables are meant for the Vlog profile, and all the corrections happen so much better when we are in Vlog than if we would be in Scene D color space. Okay, so we are in Vlog, so let's apply another lookup table. There is 8 different lookup tables in the color correction kit that we can use. For example, video gamma 1, which gives us these colors, and the bigger the number of video gamma 2, video gamma 3, and video gamma 4, the less contrast we have. And the same thing goes to film gamma 1, film gamma 2. Same thing is, the film gamma is just a bit more, let's say, more filmic than the video gamma. The video gamma is more accurate, but film gamma gives you a bit more filmic colors. Okay, so now let's do the color correction between these two lookup tables. So first we turn the Scene D into V-log, and then we turn the V-log into Rec 709. So now we can do our color correction here with these sliders. And now these sliders work really well, almost as well as in Lightroom or in Adobe Camera Raw. So for example, this image is just a bit too green, so I will, bit too magenta, so I'll remove a bit of that. And then I will give it a bit of warmth. And then I think we could add a bit of contrast and maybe a bit of exposure, something like that. And maybe there's just a bit too much saturation, so I will slide the vibrance slider just a bit down. Something like that. Okay, and that was it. Rather easy. So now let's do the other clip, the backlit clip, and I want to show you a trick what you can do with that. And here's another clip that we're going to do. And looking at the raw image, it looks like the footage is way too contrasted, that there was too much dynamic range in the scene. But actually, it's quite easy. We can recover the shadows and even a bit of the highlights with this trick that I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is what we want, and this is what we're going to start off with. So we're going to do the same thing. So first we're going to change Scene D to V-log, and then we're going to go and find some good lookup table for V-log. So let's try film gamma 3, or let's film gamma 2, or maybe video gamma 2. I think film gamma 2, yeah, film gamma 2 is nice. So now we're going to do our same things as we did before. There's a bit of magenta, so I will remove that. It's a bit cold, so I will add a bit of warmth. I think it should add a bit of contrast and a bit of exposure. And yeah, well, you know this drill. Just move these sliders until you are happy with the results. Okay, so this is what we got. And now I want to show you the trick. If we look at the original Scene D footage, it looks like there's more detail in the highlights. And that's actually true. There is more details in the original one. But Scene D is notorious for really harsh roll-off to the highlights. So that's why these lookup tables are designed to kind of smooth the highlight roll-off. So it's not so video-y. So this is more filmic roll-off to the highlights. But there's a trick you can do to bring the highlights back down so it looks that you can kind of fake more dynamic range. At least make your footage look there is much more dynamic range. And let me show you how that's done. So if this lumetri color effect is our color correction, let's copy this. Let's make a new copy of the effect and let's reset it so it's not doing the same thing twice. And then I will give this a new name, highlight, recovery. Now we're going to create a moving mask that targets only the highlights, and we can bring the exposure of the highlights down. So to do that, we cannot use this because, as you can see from the name, correction, it will, this panel is now connected to this effect. And if we want to use this effect, we have to open it up here in Effects Control. So we'll go to HSL Secondaries, and I will make a mask that only affects the highlights. So I'll turn this off, widen this up, and then do this kind of a bit of knee. And now we have a mask that only affects the highlights. And now, this is important, add a lot of pixels to the blur radius, so 150. So if we look at the image, we have this nice roll-off from the mask area to the non-masked area. So now we can click this triangle icon, and now we can start bringing down the exposure of the highlights down. But because the mask is spilling onto her face as well, I'm actually going to lift the shadows up a bit so it doesn't affect her face so much. And then let's just play around with this. I can even give a bit of a blue tint to the sky, and then I can add a saturation. Let's say 130 to the sky. So a bit too much, let's bring it down, 115. Okay, and now let me turn off and on this effect, you see what it does. So without the effect, with the highlight recovery. Okay, if you were hoping for some kind of a more complicated way of color correcting GH4 footage, I'm sorry, it's not that complicated. With the color correction kit, it's rather easy. And if you want to know more about the color correction kit, there's a link below this video, or maybe even somewhere here. And if you want to see the video that I just color corrected, you can see it here. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.